You ready?
Yeah. You want me to put it up now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll wait a couple minutes.
Here on my screen.
We'll wait a couple minutes.
Can you see it?
Yes, sir. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Body. Give me a second. We gonna get right started, Noble. We ain't gonna take all the time today. Go right into the teachers. Everybody be strolling in here in a minute. Peace, Noble. Peace, peace. Peace, peace. Peace, Noble.
I'm gonna get it back up there.
It's all good.
There we go.
Peace. Peace. Peace, Brian.
Islam Sheik. Islam Tribe.
You want to go live on our page, Noble?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me know when you already know. Islam. Give me a second. Let me set one more thing up and I'll be ready. All right, Nobles. So I do our Morse American prayer if y'all don't mind.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, yeah. Allah is our protector, our God, and our salvation. By night and by day, through his only prophet, through Ali, Amen, Ashe, Shalom Aleichem, Ash'ar, peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 everybody. Jumping on peace, peace, peace. I hope everybody had a good morning. We had an amazing more power workout. But today we like to just illuminate a little history, a little science to keep things plain. And we're going to go over just a little bit of the, how I can say the introduction or just the pre-reference of what this we have on our head, which is our Moorish fez. And live, you can see if anyone on YouTube, my Noble has up one of the books I gathered and compiled. It's the Esoteric Science of the Fez. But before I even get into my book, The Esoteric Science of the Fez, I also share some pictures with my Nobles where I show not only misnomer NBCs and Fezes, but Europeans, Albions, Trillites, whatever you want to call it, with Fezes on, with them marked with certain names. And I think I shared these pictures with a couple of my Nobles. Did I share them pictures with y'all, Noble?
Yeah, good morning.
You know what? I know you got that on there because I don't want to jump too fast. Can we show some of those pictures just to give a visual?
Yeah, hold on.
if we can. If not, don't worry about it. I'll hold up my piece of paper if I can. I'll show it.
Let me make my other device host real quick.
Okay.
Make that up.
Yeah, we ain't in no rush. We're taking our time.
Oh, you have to make the Malik Reed L the co-host. Because I have it on my device. I can share it.
Okay. A little teaching session real fast. And I can narrate from some of my documents I got here. So as my noble is putting pictures up on the feds, and as we're gonna just illuminate, just to give you an idea of how historical this feds consists of, and the synchronicity of the feds, and the dual meaning of the feds. So when we talk about the feds and the graduation cap, for all my brothers that's scholars and educators, the feds, the hex alpha, the dual trine is the geometric representation of the Moabite, the Moorish feds. The Moabite, the Moorish woman, has given a crown of knowledge to her sons within the span of 9 months in the most illuminated school of the universe, her womb. The feds symbolize her womb. So that first picture right there, I wish my empress she's doing something, but you see, I'm gonna talk on that. No disrespect to no one, but those are the daughters of American Revolution. The European women that came up with some of the marriage license, a whole bunch of other things. And I tell my empresses, when we let our own brothers and sisters tell our empresses that they can't wear the white fez with the gold tassel, but they're not going to tell these other ones that they can't wear the white fez with the gold tassel. But we only do that to our empresses, and I bring the white fez with the gold tassel back. Islam?
Islam.
So you can see the other picture Malik put up. It says written on the fez is Islam. Look at him. Written on his fez is Islam. Written on his fez is Islam. Written on his fez is Muslim. Written on the other fez is El Bay. On his fez it says El Bay. On the other fez written on it is his fez. It says Morocco. Huh? Like, come on now. And I tell people who the joke is on who, not on me. Look, that's why I tell us we gotta learn from our own brothers and sisters. It's plain in your eyes. Written on the first Mason head, fez it says Islam. Written on the other says is Muslim. Now he had on a fez that says Muslim, huh? Because he'll tell you clearly that he's the son of a Muslim, like I be saying. I be sharing that all the time from historical aspects. It's no slander. It's no slander. Written on the other fez is El Bay. And then you got Morocco. So I just wanted to show those pictures a little bit. Gratitude, Noble. Yeah. Yes. That's why I tell people, man, you want to deal with your brother that's not going to hide nothing for you, that's initiated and consecrated and anointed. That's why I try to tell my brothers, but we lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refused to learn. That's why the fez is the ancient modern national headdress of the Moabites, the Moors. A brimless headdress, most commonly produced in scarlet red with the ebony black tassel. The red fez is matched by the red field displayed in the Moorish national standard flag. The fez is also produced in black, white, and other color variations, indicating other meanings, social orders, or positions. The black fez is the highest degree. It is worn by the Mufti, or the Muhammadan judges, the Moorish United Front towards Islam, enforcement and security. The one who wears it symbolizes that she knows law in full and is able to defend it, including knowledge of martial arts and defense, physical and spiritually. That's why you have a map in the guide linked to the martial arts degrees of the black belt. And once you have the black fez, that means you're ready to learn. Don't mean you're a master of nothing. That means that student aptitude is ready to go to the next level. Just like in martial arts, when your sensei give degrees and go-ups. The fez is worn as a symbol of the womb. The top of it has a nipple shape. The top of our fez have a nipple shape. Mine is pushed in a little bit. That symbolizes the navel. The strands of the tassel like 360 degrees, as in 360 degrees of knowledge. The tassel is not pinned down. My tassel ain't pinned down. And it's not in the secret societies. Properly free-flowing. My tassel go all around. It flows freely. My tassel is flowing freely. And it represents one who is born of the womb, endowed with the aspiring to and beyond 360 degrees of wisdom or knowledge. We navigate upon the earth, and our potential is not limited, not pinned down, or kept secret. However, it is sacred. The 4 sets of our holes, we have circles. Masons, they have pentagrams. I'll tell you what that means. The 4 sets of air holes are equal to the a number of the lumen, 9, and add to 13 the number of times a woman cycle per year, which is in tune with the cycle of the moon.
Hey, did you want me to put the other document back up?
No, we good. I'm freestyle. We good.
Okay.
Because I'm just, all this is in my book. So, following its explanation found in history and a lot of the books and all initiates, this is no secret. A lot of people are trying to bring you to the water and then dry it up because they talk about things. But we into the thing. The fed typically means usually is red with an indigo black tassel. That's why when you see the ancient ones, Empress Tiani tunic, fez, she have on her fez. You know? The Moabite, the Moors, also spelled M-U-U-R, geometrically formed to represent the eternal zodiac, the body. At the fez symbolizes the womb of the cosmos and the woman, the mother. The 1-inch finale, which extends out the center of the fez, is the number 1. And the 9th letter in the phonetic Moorish alphabet, the pi or the I per se. It also symbolizes the navel. The navel. The cord extending from the eye, the cord extending from the eye, the cord extending from the eye, the cord extending from the eye symbolizes the universal umbilical cord of the universal life and represents the oneness of all life. So when we talk about, no disrespect, them religious brothers and sisters that say it's some other God or some mad science that created other man, I'm not dealing with that dogma. I'm not dealing with no hate. I ain't got time for that. The Creator created the blackbird, the bluebird, pigeons, all different type of birds, polar bear, black bear, grizzly bear, koala bear, man, come on. It also represents the tie to the source of what? Humanity. See, they all start talk, if your ear be open, they all try to pull you in when they try to talk science. They talk about the zodiacs. And then the criminal behavior start switching up when they think you dumb. Then they start trying to sell you goofy stuff, freedom. The zodiacs, they always talking about that. The first woman, the circular or the round ball, this ball of the tassel, it represents the mundane circle or the earth. The cord wrapped about the tassel strands hold the form. Its cords around this tassel, this mundane ball, to hold the form to the circle, and it represents the unity of life through the zodiac constitution of humanity. It also represents the cycle and the reciprocal nature of life. The strands of the tassel represent the 360 degrees of the zodiac, Moors. The highest law, a real authority in civilization. That's why the zodiac crown of light, the national headdress of the mothers, and the fathers of the human family, founders of civilization, and masters of the cosmos, the science. Third 33, and 360-degree master masons and Eastern stars. That's who we are. This is a part of the hidden truth, which has been buried in the dark corner of the North Gate. These is keys. Hold on 1 second. Right here, we talk about the ancient ones. Is right here, Return of the Ancient Ones, one of Washita, the Hundai Empire, the Washita Files by Empress Verdice Tierra, Washita Turner Gostin El Bay of the Black Washita Empire. Right? I mean, right? We heard, right, Morris?
Yeah, right.
Okay. She wear the fez too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just checking, you know, Moore's temperature when you get these religious brothers trying to tell the Empress they can't wear the fez, and I'm like, huh? The fez represents them. I bet you ain't gonna go up. Go ahead, somebody was saying something?
I was just gonna say your experience, Shanique, when you say that, you know, when the Empresses become exposed to this information, it's like a light bulb that goes off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, not only they're shocked, but there's almost, I feel like, in that moment, an acceptance of, you know what, this is so real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, but then the next step is, well, what do I do with that?
Yes.
That's always the difficulty right there.
And
but it's something that we haven't yet within the movement. You know, you found a link between, you know, coming into the information and then being able to act upon it in your life.
Noble, that's you explained that so eloquently. And when I say about the science for myself, why I love to bring empresses into science, and I can say for my wife, and my sister Isis, it helps them come out and be who they are. And I think that's what it is when they start understanding about who they are in the feds, and they don't have to join all these other groups. And then when they be looking at other women in those groups, they see clearly with a different eye. And so I think it's just bringing families back together, because this masonry that we created, we were supposed to be together. That's what I'm saying. When you see all this stuff separate and all this stuff, that's what they done. We were coming together, us as nobles and the empresses, when the temples and all that, like I'm sure they're supposed to be right there with us. So that they have, even in the temples, we're supposed to have sheikesses. So that's the difference for me. It ain't just me, you know? So that's why I think the difference with me, I want women to come in and wear the fez and learn and be and have skills and do all that. So I think that may be the difference a little bit, Noble Malik, when they see a lot of men coming together and they say, well, we're the women. And I think that's been a misunderstanding as well, because most of these groups has been, how can I say, segregated from women per se. You know what I mean? Women here, the men here. And that's the difference with me. I don't put women here. I put us all together, the children there. And as we get more children, we have scheduled class for them, but I teach the children what we teach. They need to be right there with us. And so I think that could be the little difference with me, Noble, because even when I, started in the churches and metaphysical class, I always brought families together. So I think maybe that's a little bit different. And I think that, some empresses see, well, we're the ladies, and they have a thing in their head like this just a male thing. Because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these Moors are just like Southern Baptist preachers. I'm just gonna keep it 100. They always put the lady back, and you can't, and this all represents the woman.
Yeah.
So I think it's our job again. No, but once again, I'm gonna go back to myself and put it on me and put it on you, put it on all of us. It's for us to continue to show and be light and tell our empresses, like, this ain't just about us. This is about you. This is about bringing us together, for you can come to an understanding and see that you the Eastern Star, and not only have to wear your fez all the time, but understand what it represents and be a part of the body. And when we have these, these Moorish balls every year, and when we do certain things, it'll be an understanding. You know what I mean? Am I saying that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that's what it is. I think a lot of times they try to make us so separate. And I say, baby, we ain't separate. This ain't no male club, not with me.
Right.
So I think that may be the difference when empresses see And that's a prime example, because I'll be on people's web page and Instagram. I'll be seeing empresses asking nobles, Lamarck, can I wear the fez? Can the empresses wear the fez? And the one noble told the empress, no, you can't wear no fez. All you do is wear a turban. I said, see, that's the problem. That's the confusion. That got to be coming from some so-called alpha fake man. That ain't no light. You see? And so I think that happens a lot when empress asks men that they see on Instagram with the fez on. They say, oh, well, can I wear a fez? And they say no. And then empress asks, what about these? No disrespect again. These European women with the white fez on with the gold tassel. And then it's nothing to say. So our empresses go join that black Easter Star stuff.
Right.
You know? And that's just my synopsis on it, no?
Islam.
But it's the headdress of our mothers and fathers of the human family. The masters, the third, 33, and 360-degree master masons and Easter stars. And this is a part of the hidden truth that has been buried in the dark corner of the North Gate. The fez symbolizes the eternal zodiac and is also called a tarbus, tiara, a corona soul, and other names, and describes its royal status. The wearing of the fez regarding masons of clandestine orders. They'll tell you it's clandestine. Clandestine orders. The fez is also the name of Old Moorish capital and the city which is located in the northeast Morocco. Morocco or Moroccan and Moors are one and the same pedigree and people. When people be trying to say, oh, the Turks is this, no, the Turks are the Moors. Period. American is a dialectical corruption of the name Al-Moroccan, which means descendant or descendants of Morocco, and the lack of consciousness of law and history on the part of any so-called Negro black Mason concerning the ancient history of the Americas has stagnated or retarded those with that so-called ability. It stagnated their ability to see through the veil of their own hoodwinking, that Jedi mind trick that we get played on us. They walking around in the Wizard of Oz. The Fez, the city in Europe. Is the Fez a city in Europe? No. Is the Fez the national headdress of the Europeans? No disrespect. I asked questions. I asked my professor here. I did a whole lecture with all Masons on campus. I said, is the Fez the national headdress of Europeans? Or is the Fez the national headdress of Moors? It was like, Moors. So what's the slander? That's a simple question. Right, nobles?
Yeah, people just don't know because they refuse to learn.
And that's why that's why it's so important for people to see us with this fez on, to see us as noblemen, like you were saying, your vibration. The kids got to see it. We want people to ask questions. Yes, this ain't no Mason. This ain't no Mason headdress or no Muslim headdress. Who is wearing the fez only by ritual, and who should be wearing the fez by right of natural dress and culture? That's a form of being Moorish, at least wearing your fez, finding a sheik. Who is in the great controversy of who is worthy to wear the fez and who is not? Who is honoring the ancient mothers and fathers and who is not? And when we deny ourselves, we can be doing it too. That's what I be saying. It ain't just on nobody else, because the European Mason will tell you eloquently, if you initiate it like myself and others, that they are a son of a Muslim. Who is denying connection to Ruth the Moabites? That all the Moors want to talk about Ruth the Moabites. I said, so you missing something then? And who is not? By way of recognizing or not recognizing the origins of the great philosophies and the wisdom found in the halls of learning called Masonry. See, we workmen, y'all. We ain't just nobody that put on the fez and say, and then try to get on the internet and act like we some magic men. And then when it's time to drop the magic down, it ain't nothing but Fuji dust. That's a court gesture. That's a court gesture. Y'all know what court gestures are, right? Okay. They could be dressed just like us, put the fez on, all that, have our Moorish attire on, and be a court gesture. These men, a lot of Moors will walk around with this fez on. It's a dunce hat for them. Y'all seen when you were the kids and they put the cone head on her? That's a form of a fez. But in that manifestation, in that context, that's a dust hat. So when a lot of Moors put a fez on and they don't get wisdom, it don't change you. You still a monkey with a fez on.
I would say if you're wearing a fez and people aren't never engaging you, you know, they stopping and talking to you, I think that's a part that we miss. You know, it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean, your essence, your aura, it's not like, you know what I mean, you know,
yeah,
it's not really, the science isn't resonated inside your spirit.
Yeah. See, Noble, and just simply, this is what I wanted. When we talk about identification, just simply wearing your fez. When I talk about nonverbal communication, okay, so if you go out there with all this Gucci designer stuff on to go around, people, don't nobody care. They be like, look at that goofy nigga with all that designer stuff on. They don't even like him. Boom. But you go out in regular clothes with your fez on, that's an attention grabber. That's like the burning bush. That's like nonverbal communication. That's the importance of wearing your fez.
I got a testimony in line.
That's the purpose of wearing your fez. We talk about a testimony. You a walking testimony. What you mean, Sheik? You tell me. I just told you. How? If you can't say nothing, you should be able to walk past and the person be like, oh, that's somebody special. That's peculiar. That's meek. When you out, when you in the world, when you in the highways and the byways, I'm different. This is who I am. So anytime when I'm in the manifestation, yes, this is a nonverbal communication. I'm Moorish. And if I'm Moorish, the least I'm going to do is wear my fez. With pride. And if I don't know anything about it, I have to link with a sheik and with brothers to learn about it. Because just reading the book is not going to get it. It's about being around your brothers. It's about seeing your brothers in the face. It's about seeing and asking other brothers their story and seeing them grow up with confidence and wearing the fez and seeing them first getting the fez and doing that and seeing the growth and coming together with confidence. Everything is confidence, man. Everything is growth. That's why I say we warriors in the garden, not gardeners in the war. Everything is growth. And that's what I tell people. Ain't nobody, you ain't come out the womb with no fez on. That's what I be telling people. I said, y'all got to stop this. I said, that's a growth. And so that's what we do. We got to get used to doing this and people seeing us with our fezes on. Being a change unit. And like Noble Lamarck was saying, hey, somebody going to ask you a question. A lot now, and I'm glad Lamarck here. The question is, Lamarck, and I always play devil advocate, a lot of nobles don't want them questions to come. Because their reaction would be in the wrong manifestation. And I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just saying, in general, I've seen it. I've been around when their reaction will be totally off. Be totally off.
Well, if everybody, if you, you know, if everybody's your enemy, you know, if everybody's in your head, you know, there is no way for someone to really, you know, engage you. You know, everything is rules of engagement, right? I mean, so, you know, in your mind, we don't think about, you know, the vibrations that we put out in our mind. It's like, that this and that person out. I mean, that's what you are when you put the fez on. That's exactly what people, you know, vibe they pick up. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, he don't look very approachable.
Yeah.
You know, and so then we all start to get, you know, hit with that wide brush. That we not a good people that can be approachable until they meet somebody that's like, and it's like, hey, and they can see it. They'll stop and talk to you. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And that's how it's always with us. And I said, that's how it is. That's why it's the importance of us wearing our fez. When they ask you, what tribe you're part of, the Burning Bush Tabernacle? Oh, I'm going to look that up. They really do that. They like, oh, these brothers are different. Yes, we're peculiar and we meek. Yes, it's more. I'll give you praying that is like misnomer black people. All those different people. Some crazy, some not. And so say if we was in an Islamic area and everybody wear the fez, you're going to have some crazy NBCs or whatever with that fez on that's going to jail and all that, right? So that's why we got to be the change unit. That's why we got to stand up with pride. That's why we got to not be afraid to wear our fez. And when people have a misunderstanding of the fez, we come with light and say, hey, man, you just, how can I say, give them light and show them the way. Because nobody is wrong. That's the thing when you get to going things, because you can build on a person, you can illuminate a person. So I never tell nobody you wrong or this and that. Never. We build on it and we invite people in. But this fez is not no religious headdress. People adopted the fez. Masons adopted the fez. But this fez is not religious. It's a national headdress. So Masonry is a system of disciplined learning. Moor is the pedigree and nationality of the direct descendants of the founders of civilization and the ancient high science, the culture, the Gnosticism, the cosmology, the alchemy, geometry, algebra, numerology, astrology, architecture, mathematics, philosophies. When they ask me what the Quran is, I say knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, and nature. From which Masonry draws is the wealth of knowledge. Thus, Masonry is the high culture, the esoteric, and the Gnostic system of learning Moorish history, learning the science and the culture, literally and factually, which was forced underground and veiled in the allegorical stories, the mysticism, the signs and symbols. When they tell you some Prince Hall, man, that's all mystic stuff. That's why when I start bringing out words like clandestine, that's an adjective meaning secret, concealed, sly, underhanded, superstitious, accomplished by improper means or by stealth, meaning someone feel, oh, this is my birthright, like somebody owe you something. What's your birthright? Like nobody owe you nothing. Ain't no pot at the go to the rainbow. What it's all about? Because you think you finna put a feather on and now you some damn Power Ranger and in no laws you can drive out here and do anything because you gonna got some goofy Zodiac law to say I don't get arrested and all that. Man, that ain't law. That's just the numbers in the Library of Congress. You can look that stuff up. Facts. Masonry is the high esoteric science. All this stuff was forced underground. So a lot of people be doing this by clandestine, as a clandestine plan or act, seeking a benefit with fair, just, or proper compensation, participation, or input. Synonyms of the word clandestine include hidden, furtive, covert. Clandestine is derived from the old Moabite, Moorish Latin word, clandestinus. No disrespect, and many have mistaken to think that Europeans, Albions, Tralodites, whatever you want to call them. See, the only reason why I say this, if somebody gonna sit and call you black, somebody else, well, I'm gonna use the same words back. I'm gonna say Tralodite, or I'm gonna say Albion. You the one said you grew up in a cave. You the one said you grew up in dinosaurs, right? Okay, so I'm not gonna let you call me black, which I'll tell you I ain't Negro and black. I'm just gonna say Albion and Tralodite and use the proper words because I don't know what's white or black. I don't even know what that means. So it's a mistaken that Europeans who wear the fez in secret and Negroes who wear it in secret are the originators of the fez. They are aware of the meaning and the purpose of the fez, as it is the crown worn by those of the Moorish nation, which represents the matriarch. No disrespect, the Europeans have usurped and stolen the crown and the birthrights. As well, they have utilized the science and high culture, embodied and represented in the wearing of the fez. This is no disrespect, which is the science of the universe, the workings of nature and natural order. See, that's why our babies is so important for our young men and our young daughters to wear the fez. Because when they have the fez on, they know that they being homeschooled. How? By all the laws, by all the cosmos. That's what they know. So when they go into this public schooling, they going in as scholars. How? Because what they getting is nothing but prereqs. They going in that situation as scholars, illuminate, blowing the teachers' minds. This is one of the reasons why our Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that they live as vultures, not just nobody different color, all ones that's sucking air out of us. It don't have nothing to do with color. We suck our own royal blood by not coming to truth and light, which we looking for. We've been miseducated, and then we let our children be miseducated, and it leads us to misgivings and to a dark and ignorant place of not knowing. And thus we suffer what the Bible says. Why? For a lack of knowledge. Why? Because we refuse to learn. And then we argue against each other as to the orders of many things, including affairs. But the Europeans agree with me. Many think the fez belongs to the Turks, but without knowing that the original Turks are the Moors of the Ottoman Empire. It's in the Library of Congress. I shared this eloquently. The Ottoman Empire being active into the world wars, which coincides with the 40s, wherein COINTELPRO charged the Moors of the Moorish Science Temple, claiming they were in cahoots with Japan against the United States. See that, and I ain't even gonna go on, Yes, I am. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna say a little bit, and y'all pieced it together. I ain't gonna say no names or nothing because I'm gonna start. I've been showing y'all criminal stuff. It's going forever. We just not into it. Like that paradigm group talk about not paying taxes. All them Europeans went to jail. So when you get this, when I talk about the COINTEL group, listen what I said. Charles Morris of the Morris Science Temple claiming they were in cahoots with Japan against the United States. So what am I talking about today? What's happening today? Y'all know. Is Morris doing what? Right now. Where they at? Right? Done did what? Right now. Solomon, look at Solomon. Look at Solomon. See, Solomon know what I'm saying, don't you, Solomon? Okay. Come on, I ain't got to say it. I'm just telling y'all how people get set up and they don't know it. They doing it. Look at all them brothers that did certain things. I ain't got to say names, and it ain't just one. It's a gang of them. And they run there. Criminals, they run. I'm telling you. So nobody can be mad at me. This is free information. I shared it with y'all. It happened in Houston. They did it, and the task force came. They ran to China to talk about they some fake goddamn nationals. Feds on their ass. Excuse my candor. So be careful. That's what I'm saying. When we act like we don't know, and then people know, and then we'll let other people send people in to burn the houses and get all people caught up in a RICO, in a conspiracy. It don't have to do with nothing killing. It's criminal. It's overthrowing the government. It's defrauding the government. That's a RICO, right? Okay. And then if states pick it up, because states can pick RICO cases up too. The feds can too. But local jurisdictions can pick things up too. Okay. That's what's happening with them boys in Atlanta. Real talk. Clandestine. So it ain't nobody that brought this to us. The science of the cosmos, the workings of nature and natural order. COINTELPRO Moors that was charged. They charged the Moors back then trying to be in cahoots with Japan. Others think the feds was originated and belonged to the pale Arabs of today, and without knowing that the original Arabs are Moors. We broke this down in class. We researched what the ARAP consists of. All Europeans agree with me. Get a book called Bertrand Thomas called The Arab. They all agree with me. And some owe each, and some owe each other out into slavery, even while wearing the fez. Come on. And that transatlantic slave trade, all that, get white cargo. Get they were white and they were slaves. Get some real history. Research the Arab slave trade. Don't get mad at nobody. We here for illumination. They had to work hard to keep the light of truth regarding the North Gate, North America, Northwest Maxima, North Africa. They had to keep it closed to the masses, even unto the mothers and the fathers of the civilization, who were in fact taught the Europeans and brought them out of darkness. See, they were in the dark ages. You never had a dark age. You never had a dark age. During the European Renaissance. Research what all this European Renaissance, all this stuff is. When I got all history books about dispensations, they taught through Masonic orders. The sun, they taught through the Masonic order. It's just an analogy when I talk about Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. When Larry Bird playing Michael Jordan for his Big Mac, but Larry Bird don't have nothing to offer if Michael Jordan wins. That's why I say I don't participate with nothing else. I'm a tribal leader. I have the right to do this religiously and lawfully. The science of the universe, the sacred lessons of the life and nature, in an effort to civilize them and bring them into a culturalized society. The Europeans later created clandestine orders to keep the teachings amongst themselves. I show this all the time. And what we especially want to show is those photos that I showed y'all of all the Europeans were El Bay on their fez, Muslim, Morocco, to show in fact that they are aware of the Morocco. They are aware of the empire and the subordinate kingdom. They are aware and practice Islam and know the true meaning of Muslim. And they are aware of the 5 noble titles, El, Bey, Day, Al, and Ali. And these titles were transferred and renamed as the 5 civilized tribes of acceptance during the so-called Indian agreements. But a lot of Moors are not aware of that. This is not India, and the people were and are indigenous or indigenous. The world knows exactly who we are, and they waiting on us to awaken. In the secret, your existence is ritualized by those who sit in the seats of power, who have adopted your information and down your noble titles and indicate those in the photos that my noble just showed. Just like when the Europeans write the books Atlantis of Latter Days and the European call itself El Elyon. And we be all amazed with that stuff. And your own brother, if they was in the flesh today, they'd sit on their hands. Our empresses got to come back to the state of mind. Our nobles got to come back to the state of mind, to our ancient forefathers and foremothers, the founders of civilization, the original masters of the 7 seas, and the aboriginal and the indigenous inhabitants of this land. So when we talk about Islam, family, all those symbols of Islam, when you got the crescent, the star, the pyramid, the Mason compass, the so-called 6-point star, and the circle with the 30, the 333, the 90, 90, 90, the 360 degrees, all those symbols that represent I, self, law, and master. So the I from the creator of the universe, representing mother and child, from hence we came. The S, the self, each one of us is a trinity. This is being the symbol of civilization. The L, which is the compass and the square with the G in it. The law, the length, the angle, and the width of the cosmic energies that marked us. The A, when you got the so-called 6-point star. You got the N up top, you got the S at the bottom, you got the G and the 7 in the middle. The A, the M, the joining of the two trinities, male and female. Then we go to that Baphomet principles of truing, which creates another I am, which create another I am, which create another what? Another life. The M, when you got the circle with the line out of it, another line, 333 and one, which is 90, 333 and the other is 90, 333 and the other is 90, 333 and the other is 90, north, south, east, west. So that's the master, and this being the glyph. A glyph is a hieroglyph, a glyph for the planet Earth, of which we are on, and aspire to be master navigators upon. What? This earth plane, not when no flesh is gone. And so when I get into the European empresses that Noble Malik showed on there regarding the white fez with the gold tassel, the Daughters of American Revolution, acronym DAR, and other Eastern stars, it's already been established that the fez represents the womb, the 4 sets of the breathing holes on the fez. They count up or spell numerologically the sacred number of 9 plus 4 equals 13. The cycle of the moon and the cycle of the woman in harmony with the moon. The white of the fez represents the moon and the gold tassels, the sun, and 360 degrees of knowledge aspired to upon the earth plane. This ball of mud, just like my black ball, if I had my white fez with the gold tassel, I'd pull it out. But the white ball, this plane, the ball, it'll be gold. It's a ball of mud. Thus, the white fez represents purity, symbolic of the womb. The Moabite nation flag, the matriarch flag, is white with a gold crescent and star. The crescent represents the mother and child, the mother cradling a child. More specifically, the mother and son, the ma and the son, the ma son, the mother and the son, as she can easily duplicate herself. But to transform a female egg into a male specimen is the miracle. Thus she has created the miracle son, the prodigal son from her womb. Are y'all still with me? Okay. I'm just checking. I'm just checking if y'all with me. So when you ponder upon the Daughters of the American Revolution Moors, which is acronym DAR, what you find is that they began charters far back as 1890s here in the North Gate, which is northwest of Mexico, northwest Africa, the heartland of the Temple of the Sun and the Moon. The Moorish nation flag is the flag of her sons. It is red with a 5-pointed green star, which represents the Venus, the mother, in the center. And when she became unconscious, the flag of her sons was flown. It represents the great bloodshed ensued upon the land, and many divisions and tongues, false prophets, and mass destruction, and all that. The bloodsheds was not only in the death of the human form of many Moors, but it represented the flow of shedding of the blood to make up many other nations. The scepter, if you will, was passed to her sons while she lay unconscious. It is not to the son's fault, family, as it was she who caused the great destruction, and it would be she who, our empresses, who repairs it. Her awakening is or will be the great wrath of Allah. See, that's the great wrath of Allah, the awakening of our empresses, noble Lamar. That's what it is. They know this, all know it. The world don't end, and never was a time when man was not, and it definitely never was a time when this world wasn't here. But that's the great wrath of Allah, the awakening of our empresses. That's what our job is. And that's what we do. We bring it on the wrath of Allah, because we bringing our empresses in, no matter how hard it is. We were, and what were the daughters of American Revolution against? What were they against? When I show y'all the pictures of the Asiatic women bathing the misnomer Albions, all in their history books and their Latin books, I'll tell you what it's all about. But their establishment was based on the promotion of historic preservation, education, and patriotism. See, that's what it was about. They are directly against the matriarch, which is the Republican form of government here in America. So when you see a Negro Freemason, they feds are gonna look weird. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. It's not gonna have the circles. It's gonna have a damn pentagram, and their ties are gonna be pinned down. A Republican is based in matriarchal principles, not patriarchal. Their revolution certainly was not inclusive of the Moorish, Moabite, Asiatic, African woman, as she still thinks there is a revolution to come, and rightfully so, as it's her revolution that must occur in order for humanity to live on in harmony. She must wake up and recognize that she is the mother of the daughters of the American Revolution, and that they are revolting against her sons, of which they, the daughters, were in concubines for. Remember I told y'all, when men go other places, that's when you see they were white and they were slaves. Y'all know that those Moorish brothers was having all those, no disrespect, offsprings of those people, right? Right? So the son does the bidding of the mother, right?
Right.
That's how you were overthrown. Because the blood, they got your blood in you, right? Okay. I'm trying to tell people, and we ain't gonna recognize, we let all the Queen of England, all them people wear the Moorish heads and NBCs that don't know history, like, oh, she wearing something with a slave. That ain't no slave symbol. Fool, that's royalty.
That's the only reason they can wear is because they got a tattoo of blood.
Yes. And when people be seeing me, they be like, what are those? I said, man, these, like, it just, we got to come up. That's why I say when I go around different Europeans and things, they know exactly what it is. Masons, they know. But they go against her sons, of which they, the daughters, were the concubines for. The Moabite, the Moorish, Asiatic, the African woman must recognize and using. They got to use the teachings for their daughters, for their sons. They got to teach their sons the science and connect to nobles like us to help raise the sons and the daughters, to connect to that number 9, that supreme mathematics, that 9 to the 9 to the 9th power, that science of the womb, to invoke the powers and purpose of her womb, to bring in the children of great. And this can only happen, and it relates to her and her womb. Anything that will bring something that is not connected to her womb or her cause is certainly not in a positive manner. That's why when I talk about what's going on in the womb, that's why the daughters of the American Revolution were all aware of the science of the womb. And they utilized it in their revolt against their history of being concubines of the Moorish sons. I'm telling you, that's their true history. And that is why they revolt against it. Even though the sons treated them fairly well, much better than their own sons. See all that stuff, women rights, that ain't got nothing to do with our empresses. That had to do with, no disrespect, European women, because they mean husband didn't want them to do nothing. Facts. And now these women, all this Section 8, on this bullshit welfare, is destroying the families, getting on aid. And the only way you can get that is the man got to go. This shit is systematic. That's why I be telling our members, I'm going to get on child support, all that for some change. That's why the Albion daughters of American Revolution wanted to be free from their past and free to create their own reality. They have come a very long way and are very proud of their accomplishments. They utilized the womb and created the sons who were endowed with the directions and the psyche. they imparted to them in the womb to come out with a demeanor to hate and destroy the Moorish sons. Their sons became the members of the so-called clan and all that. This is their history. I got their Quran. They study the Quran. They just put an L in it. We need to have a different view when we see the daughters now wanting to be linked back to the Moorish sons. It is their DNA. It's also the DNA of the Albion sons to have a distaste and genuine fear of the Moorish sons. It's no disrespect. In irony, as the mothers and fathers of civilization, we are their salvation. And dishonoring of one's mothers and fathers, including them. They go the way they came, and others will be destroyed by the sons. That's in Malachi chapter 4. All men do the bidding of women, and this is a fact. It's our duty, and an honest man will admit that, even if he doesn't. In all reality, he is affected by the woman from the time he is born and while in the womb being made. If he is arrogant, possessive, insecure, she taught him this way in the womb. Much of these things were learned in the first school room of the universe, which is the woman's womb. Thus, he did not stand a chance to be otherwise. That's why submitting to the will of Allah is done in the womb during one's making. Allah is all law, manifest in the flesh. That's the arm, leg, arm, head. That's Allah. Everyone is a Muslim. As a Muslim is a fetus, muscles, bones, tissues, or Muslim in this context. In this context, the same, muscles and limbs. This is why they wear the fezes with Muslim, Islam, El Bay, and Morocco, amongst other ancient writers upon them. This is clear that they are modern man and we are ancient man. They are not and can never be ancient man. They have no ancient history, and this is no disrespect. The Daughters of American Revolution are the ones who created the Citizenship Manual. Y'all didn't know that. They created the Citizenship Manual. Those who came into the shores of America, while the great Statue of Liberty looks on Venus as dedicated in nature. Mother sets the agenda and the sons play it out. They enforce it, they protect it. That's why I say we're here to defend the Constitution. We ain't coming up with nothing new. We direct it. We supervise it. Moabite, Moorish, Asiatic, African sisters. It is the, no disrespect, it is the European, the Albion daughters that have used the science of the womb and want to take your place. It's all a replacement. You got to understand this. This is no slander or no hate. It's all a replacement. You don't want your Big Mac, Michael Jordan, let me play you for it. And when I win, I got it. How? Would I get nothing? It's that simple.
Gotta bring something to the table.
See? And it's nothing to bring to the table.
Right.
He only does her bidding, as it ought to be. It was the Moabite, the Moorish woman, who wielded her great strength in negative ways against her sisters, which caused the great fall of humanity. It is known as the fall of the great angel, which sisters fight each other. That's the fall of the great angel, which sisters look like that's the fall. And then it creates chaos in the womb. That's why many wear the womb as a royal crown, except for the Moorish women. And she is the mother of civilization. See, clearly she has been unconscious. And it is time now for her to awake so the great meeting can take place. That's the great meeting our prophet talk about when our empresses come, because the empresses have the babies. Without our empresses, where the hell we gonna come from? And what type of boy, what type of children we gonna produce? For those sisters who are in these so-called secret societies, the Eastern Stars, ETC, well, the joke is on you, just like the Negro Masons, the joke is on you, because the secret is about you. Are you aware of the Esther, E-S-T-H-E-R, Easter, Istar, Isis, Esteri, Venus, an indication and proof that the universal language is that of cosmology. This is why you are called the Eastern Star Empresses. Venus is the Eastern Star. I hope my empresses know this. To my sisters, to my nobles' wives, to aunties, cousins, our empress that call themselves black women, none of that. To my sisters who have not been previously aware, you may not be an Eastern Star member with that clandestine stuff, but when you come to your brother, to your sheik, he anoints you, and you need not to be none of that. Yet you are a star from the East. You just come under the science with a true map and a guide, which is how we be brought up. We have medicine men, we have tribal leaders. Venus, the cosmic mother, which rules Libra. That's Mayat. When I talk about Mayat, the god that produced food and life, preserves the balance, those wings of nature with her scales of justice and the sword of truth. And what? Retribution. Retribution. It is time to rise from ignorance and see you for who you are. And more importantly, empresses, for your obligation and responsibility to humanity. This is our responsibility. If you do not plan, see, planning, what is planning? See, watch this, planning, we plant. So when you plant something, there got to be some tilling in it. You just ain't finna plant nothing and disappear. You got to plan, you got to get all the stuff out of the way. You got to make sure this, you got to plan, you got to do some tilling. So it's some birth that have to go with planting. So when you plan, you are planting, or you are plant to bring away more what? Royal crowns here. That's why I tell my nobles and my empresses, please teach your daughters. Bring them to me. Sit down with families. Teach who you are, the direct descendants of founders of this civilization. Teach your empresses about the return of the ancient ones. The true history uncovered. Teach them about it. Teach them about the high science. Teach them the ancient sciences, the culture, the Gnosticism, cosmology, alchemy, geometry, algebra, numerology, astrology, architecture, mathematics, philosophies, and the science of the womb. And everyone else is drawing wealth and knowledge from it and wearing it, the symbol of the womb, atop their head and their royal crown, except for the mothers of civilization herself. You, yes, my Moorish empresses, Mobile Moorish Asiatic empresses, my misnomer African empresses, you are the Eastern Star. Islam? I close. I have nothing else.
Gratitude.
I have nothing else.
So I got a couple of questions that like we teach you got taught here at the teach me all the answer, but I have a couple of questions for you if you don't mind.
Absolutely, no.
So who made you?
Who made me? The same essence that made you. But
teachings, you know what I'm saying? According to our one-on-ones, according to our one-on-ones, that teachers who made you.
You know, you tell me. Because I know where you're going. Talk to him. Ask a question and get an answer.
Allah, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's how you were, when you wrote it, the way you were wording it and the way you were reading it, it kind of different. You know what I'm saying? So speaking about a star from the east.
Mm-hmm.
The north is the heavens and the south is the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Is the outer. What would be the east?
What you think?
I would have my reasonable answer would be the inner.
Mm-hmm.
So the star, 5 star.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even in the what book was that? You was going over the 7 seals.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about the upright
pentagram.
Man, you know what I'm saying? You know, in history and in science, man pertains to woman and men.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about the upright man, and then if Allah created you and I, you know what I'm saying? You're speaking about the revolution of the Eastern Star and the awakening of that power. And you had said they had worn their crown.
Yes.
The the knowledge of the womb promised, but the other quote unquote women, they wear it. You know what I'm saying? They know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at what's going on today. It's just like, and you said what type of sons would they have?
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
And looking at how things are being projected, and kind of, especially in like the media, how the Eastern Star or the Star from the East is portraying herself now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was reading called the Tavistock Institute. They were specifically speaking about the degradation of the woman.
Yep.
And I just had to ask you a few questions to see if I'm overthinking or underthinking.
No, you ain't doing either none. You right. You on the ride. That's why I said this is add-on. You know math. You multiplying. You add. This is add-on. These are tools in the toolbox. See, no, and you said something so powerful when you talk about the feds, wearing the feds. Okay, so when you have a Asiatic or Moorish empress with the Eastern Star, right? And say that might be your auntie, your mom. You will never know.
Wow.
Some of the ladies in the family, they might have saw pictures of her. She had never shared with them. But the Europeans, the ones that wear the white face during the American Revolution, they bring their kids up like that to know that it's a family thing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so you can wear something and not know nothing about it or be afraid of it, and somebody else is wearing it and know exactly over it. That's how they're making you bow down to them. Because somebody that is all represents you, you got a European potentate instead of your own brother. That's the lack of. And that's the mystery, just like with the black nations. It's all about you. So why you got to have some potentate under you, somebody you that don't explaining that? That's clandestine.
Wow.
And even when we talk about the upright pentagram, that say when I showed you Atom and Eve all in there, and then I showed you how it's defiled. You see the Eastern stars. They don't even know their pentagram is turned sideways a little bit. How Hitler took the swastika. They shit off balance. They pH balance is totally off. It's just like a defiled fez.
Oh man.
I'm telling you.
Oh man.
So it's so noble when we talk about spiritual things, it's really a lot of times there's no right or wrong, because it can be explained how you explain it. We both explaining the same things, but in different manifestations. We saying the same thing. I'm breaking it down in layman terms. You asking me a question, I'm giving it back to you in science. Like, you're not wrong.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I feel the same way. I say, man, I even got a lot of our empresses be Eastern stars, and they don't know anything about who they are. Just like I know a lot of Masons, nobles, it's all fun. They got in the Mason, in their little temple, they got a liquor well in the basement. All them Negroes do is get drunk. The ones I do, and we down there, they don't anoint their brothers and sisters. They don't teach their kids this stuff. It's like a big secret, a whole bunch of old men. So what it's about? And they all know more about more science. They all know about Noble Drew Ali. They'll never talk about, oh yeah, I heard about Noble Drew Ali. They know. So any questions, man?
No questions I had.
But this book right here, The Return of the Ancient Ones, the state of Louisiana was originally stolen and illegally sold as the Louisiana Purchase. This book, Lewis and Clark, remember I tell you about Lewis and Clark when they came to the Americas, they said what they saw. Lewis and Clark said we were here when the exploration was made by them for this country. So I'm not saying nothing.
Lewis and Clark.
Huh?
Lois or Lewis?
Lewis.
Lewis and Clark. Okay.
Yeah. Lewis and Clark. I got all the books. I'll send them to y'all. They was like explorers in first century. And they said that the first white man came to our good area and jotted down a history document and said we were here. Philo puts us on his map, and he said we were here and owned this place at the time he made the map. And the Plano said we are the people that made the road, Rio Negro River, as he called it. Now to cover it up, we say the Black River. And if I want to know if a horse hath teeth, I will go to a living horse and open his mouth. And that's what we done with. Yep. And that's what we done with this science. It took 20 years to put this together. And if Moors need to read it. It's documents and everything. It's right there. It's no secret. Empress, she got her fez on in there. She royal. That's why I be laughing at Moors. And if she was in the flesh, she'd be sitting right here next to me. That's why I tell people, I'm like, dude, it's all our bylaws are here. You'll see her with the fez on lecturing, and you let our brothers and sisters say our empresses can't wear the fez. Don't be Freemason Moors. I'm sorry to say it. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Point blank. Be mad at me if you want to. Oh well. Those are Freemason Moors. Any Freemason that belittle the woman, that's some satanic stuff. Point blank. We can't have nothing without the woman, man. We can't. Nothing. Zilch. Yeah. So I love y'all, man. And thank y'all for taking time out y'all day. Share that science with your empresses, man. Show them how that's a little bit how we got confidence with the feds, because all of us been resurrected. Everybody that got wives and those that may be dating, be tender with what we doing, y'all. Because we have to wake up too. And I know we be excited when we get things and you want to just, well, what about the no? Be tender with it. You know what I mean? Because it's nothing they're doing wrong. It's all about you. And so they want to see God in you, but be tender with this science. You know what I mean? With our empresses. And just talk love to them, because this is about you. And so all they have to do is believe in you and support us. That's it. But that white fez with that gold tassel, if any empresses on this web page and on my YouTube page, that white fez with that gold tassel represents you. And if there's any Moorish empresses on this page and Moorish telling you, or some goofy sheet telling you can't wear that white fez with the gold tassel, you tell them to go on, and you come to the bbtsciencetemple.com. And if you're looking for a white fez with a gold tassel, we sell them with the proper perforations on moorishhaberdasher.com. And I'm going to close out just like Suge said. Come to death row. Wow. Well, gratitude, man. Gratitude for everybody. Anybody got anything, man?
I said, hey, Brian, you leaving from Atlanta, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what day you just coming back on?